And happy Sunday night to everybody. Here we are live on another Ask Us Anything live stream here on YouTube. And boy, it's hot. Are you as hot as I am?
Ready to rain. I'm hoping. I hope we get the rain because we need it.
I'd turn on the air, but it'd be a little too noisy here in the RV. We do have the fan running, and you probably hear that in the background. But
They don't want to hear your whining.
I'm not whining. I'm just going to say I'm going to look like Richard Nixon in that first debate with Kennedy. I'm going to start sweating because it is really hot here. Wow, what a busy weekend we have had.
But a wonderful weekend. Very exciting.
We
spent
the weekend in Lakeside, Chautauqua, which is on the shores of Lake Erie, halfway between Toledo and Cleveland. And what a great time we had there. We have never quite stayed in a place like that, and we'll have a big full video on it Thursday. But we tried to get there about a month ago, couldn't work it out in the schedule. Something came up, and we were able to finally get away Thursday and spend.
And it was. We thought of it as an anniversary getaway.
Yeah, it was kind of like our anniversary. We left. It was a Bo
We got
vacation.
rid of our kid.
Got rid of Bo.
The furry kid.
It was great.
He stayed with our granddaughter.
It was great. Here's a couple pictures. This is the main gate as you drive in to Chautauqua Lakeside, and it's a gated community. It's about a mile square, and we just had a terrific time there. There's a great campground. It is called the Chautauqua.
What do you want to do?
Why is Mercedes talking to us? Mercedes,
I don't know.
Quiet, please.
Yes, that's my Mercedes. For some reason, she thinks.
She talks all the time.
I don't know.
What would you like to do?
Mercedes, we're going to put you to bed now. Good night. There we go. She's in bed. Anyway, that is a shot of the pavilion, and it's right on the lake. And Jennifer was particularly happy to be there because the first thing she did is went and worked out, and then the first thing she did the first morning
was I taught an aqua aerobics class. I didn't intend to teach an aqua aerobic class. How many people were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Jennifer
I made
right
10.
in the top center. And she ended up being the teacher. So I went to pick her up, and there she was.
And you heard my voice.
I heard her voice, just like old times, and she was teaching the class and had a great time.
The instructor didn't show up, so I taught the class. I haven't taught a class in 4 years.
So you can tell that she was pretty happy about it. And it's a beautiful place. There's some fishing on the dock. We saw a young kid catch a great big largemouth bass today on the dock, and that was kind of fun to watch. But anyway, that's just a sample, a couple of the images we took. We had a lot of time spending a lot of time with music. We really enjoyed the music that we saw there. It
Got
was
the pictures of the music.
It
Are
was
you going to
great.
share those?
No, I'm going to try and get all of these off. There we go, and get
Okay.
back to those. We saw.
They have to wait till Thursday, right?
Yeah. Oh, there's the thunder. Hear the thunder?
Mm-hmm. A couple raindrops.
Yeah. So it probably is going to get noisy
If I
here.
get up, it'll be because I'm going to shut the big door.
Yeah, and I think we'll have rain
And we'll
coming
really
through.
roast.
Anyway, we'll have a full video on Chautauqua Lakeside, and we want to give a shout out to the CEO, Kevin Sibring. He welcomed us at one of the events and was just very, very hospitable to us. And we also want to talk Angel Wainheimer. She is the manager of the campground there, and
Angel
we
and
stayed.
Her
Husband John run the campground, and what a great place that is. A lot of them are seasonal. There's a 7-year wait for a seasonal spot, by the way. That's how popular they are. But they have a number of overnight spots, and we were able to get one of those from Thursday through today with our friends, the Chanteaus, who I see Les is here watching us tonight. They were there. They're the ones who I think told us about Chautauqua Lakeside.
And then others started jumping in as soon as we said Chautauqua.
And other people recommended a place for lunch that we had today, Jolly Rogers, and we had to eat the specialty of Lake Erie fish. 2 kinds of fish. I had the perch.
And I had the walleye.
Perch was much better.
Much better.
Yeah, and we had some fried mushrooms. Les recommended those. I don't think we'll go back for that again, but we did like the perch. Met a great couple there. Gave a tour of our RV. Okay, I wanted to just give you a quick hint about what we've done this weekend, and a hint, the big video will be coming up on Thursday. I got a lot of video to edit, but I think you'll really enjoy this place. It's different because it's not, we've done stealth camping, we've done boondocking, we've done big campgrounds and small campgrounds. This is a community, and it's a gated mile square community in which you camp, but there's also cottages and houses, a little downtown area, some restaurants, but so many things to do: recreational, educational, spiritual, very family friendly place, and great entertainment. Who did we see last night? The Fifth Dimension.
I know I was going in a different direction, talking in my mind, but that's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
But music, we saw. Where else can you camp and then go see a symphony orchestra one night, a
Cuban?
pop group the next night? The first night we saw a Cuban group, Adonis Fuentes. If you know Cuban music, which we didn't know until then, he's an international star. Just a great performance. All that included with our costs.
And we didn't have to worry about a babysitter because we didn't have Bo.
We didn't have Bo.
So we just took off every minute.
So take a look at that, and we'll have some fun. All right, a couple other programming notes. I want to give you a heads up on two big RV shows that are coming up in the fall. Fall season starts, and the first one is Hershey, Pennsylvania. We go there every year. It's America's largest, and we will be there on September 3rd and 4th, which is the Friday
that
and
sounds
Saturday.
Like Sonoma.
No, it's September 3rd and 4th at Hershey, and we will be there, and we invite you to...
We're leaving the 11th of September. I thought it was the 12th.
Jen, Pomona is October.
October, yes.
Yes. Hershey is September 3rd. Oh, 14th. Yes, 14th. Oh, you're right. She's always right. Hear the noise, the rain?
We're getting some rain.
Think it's going to come in?
Might.
Okay. See, I couldn't read my own writing. I kind of made a note
That
there.
happens.
Thank you for correcting that. All right, so September 13th and 14th is when we'll be at Hershey. That's the Friday and Saturday, and we'll be doing a meet and greet on Friday the 14th, and we'll be at the Leisure Travel Vans area at the Hershey show. If any of you are going there, we'd love to meet you. And we'll also do our regular Ask Us Anything. We'll do it on Saturday from the Hershey show. Then the next month we'll be in Pomona for the California RV show. It's north of LA.
If we buy our tickets.
If we buy our air tickets. Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think we're going to get there.
You know, we need an assistant. We need a virtual assistant to help us book stuff like this, because we've been trying to buy tickets and we're traveling and editing and we don't have time. We did that last year too. We got to get those tickets. So we need to hire a virtual assistant to help us with our schedule. But that California RV show is at the California Speedway this year in Pomona.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be there on, we'll be doing our meet and greet on Saturday, October 5th at the Pomona RV show. We'll tell you a lot more about it. I think we'll even have a couple of coupon codes for the California show that you can get tickets discounted. So that'll be fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we got a lot of you here, and we'll try and get through as many as you can. Paul Goodwin checks in from Freedom, New Hampshire. Our pal Fly Shacker is right here. Boy, we're glad to see you, buddy. You make it every week, and we meet. That means a lot to us. Hi to Gavin. So it's starting I Love Mike and Jenny and their dog, too. Thank you, Gavin. Does anybody know what their current RV, Mike and Jen, do you know? Can you tell me? This is a leisure travel van, Unity FX. So there you go. Peter, Mike, Jennifer, and Bo, just wondering what you think of membership-style campgrounds. Are they worth the money? Well, it depends on how much you like that campground. The big one, of course, is Thousand Oaks, or Thousand Trails. And we've looked into it, and we've stayed at one of their places as an overnight guest in New York, I think it was. It's too big for us. It was way too big, too busy.
That was a happening.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, they had areas that were quiet. You didn't have to leave the grounds. You'd need a golf cart.
Yeah.
They had a bar restaurant right next to the playground. Kids could play.
Yeah.
I mean, they had karaoke. They had all kinds of entertainment. They had something for everybody.
Now, the way they work is you join them. I think it's several $100s a year, and you can only join like in one region. The country's divided up into several regions, and then supposedly it doesn't cost you to stay if they have openings as you go around and stay in that region. That just seems like a lot of money. And our style of travel, if you follow us, you know, is serendipity. We don't like to plan out too far. So it hasn't been for us. Lots of people do belong to them.
If you got kids,
Yeah, but I would try it with just try and visit. All of them let you stay overnight. You can if you can find it, unless they're full. So try staying at a couple. See how much you'd use that region, that area. Now there may be other membership style campgrounds. Good Sam gives you supposed discounts if you're a Good Sam member. Passport America is another one. That one's not a bad deal because I think it's $49 a year. We think of our friends at Harvest Host, which I think is the best deal out there. Let you stay free at golf courses and wineries and farms, but you have to be fully contained, and there's no hookups at most of those. So check around. But the big membership, I think you're talking about Thousand Trails, and it's not our style, but other people do like it.
can you hear the thunder?
All right, hi from
Liz, pretty good.
Hi from South Florida, enjoying 7-day adventure to the Adirondacks. Question, did you buy your leisure van locally, and if not, why?
They are really hard to get. They only make $900 a year.
Yeah.
Usually have to wait about a year to get one. Can you hear the rain? The pitter patter of rain? We
Wow.
need this rain.
It is, yeah. We've
Bo is
gone
in
through
the
a
house.
bunch
You know
of...
how scared Bo's going to be in the house?
Yeah. So we bought ours actually in New Mexico. We picked it out at the Salt Lake City RV show in March. And we said, that's the one we want. We want it right now. And you had to buy it through a dealer, and the nearest dealer was Albuquerque. Yeah, it was Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we bought ours there. In Michigan, if they had one in stock, we would have bought at Holland Motorhomes. I am just a big fan of Holland Motorhomes. That's the nearest leisure travel van dealer to us. I was there last Monday, and I was there the previous week, adding a couple of things and doing some modifications, and just a first-rate crew there. So the next one we buy, if we buy another leisure, will be through Holland Motorhomes right here in town, I think. Right here in Michigan, anyway. It's across the state. But this one we bought in New Mexico because we wanted this specific one we're at, and we wanted it right then, and that was their closest dealer. So that's where we bought it. Have you synced your phone to your Mercedes infotainment system using Apple CarPlay? All the time, Paul. We have an Android, can't seem to sync using Android Auto. I have an Android too, and it syncs as well, but I use CarPlay, Apple CarPlay. That's my main smartphone. We really like CarPlay.
We do.
We use Waze all the time. That's my favorite navigation system. We listen to podcasts on it, and love CarPlay. But Android Auto should work just the same. Pam Morrison checks in from San Francisco. Cali Girl, what's the best tips on conserving water when boondocking?
Don't shower, don't wash your dishes. No. Vinegar
Yeah.
and water. You can a mixture of that. You can wipe your dishes.
Now, how do you
Clean
work
them with
that
that.
out? You take
Put
a
it in
little
a squirt
bottle,
bottle.
vinegar and water. How
Mhm.
many parts do you know?
I don't remember now. I'd have to look it up.
But yeah, and do that instead of running the water. We can get on a tank here. We can get 3 or 4 showers and wash the dishes 3 or 4 times, and then it starts to get low. We showered. How many times did we shower in this over the weekend? A couple, 3 times, and we did dishes, and I still had 40% water, fresh water. Although I was hooked up to water at that campground, so that doesn't make any difference. But I guess I'm talking about the gray tank. You can fill that up a lot. It takes a lot of water.
I'm thinking I should shut the door.
You think so?
Yeah, the next time I go to a dealer, I'm going to ask. I guess common sense would say that you shouldn't let the inside of the door get wet.
I don't know. Probably. It's raining pretty good, so we'll see. So back to conserving water. If you take a shower, learn how to take. Don't get hit with lightning. Take Navy showers. Get yourself wet, lather up, rinse off real quick. Bring bottled water, as much of that as you want. We are always drinking bottled water. In fact, I'm going to steal Jennifer's right now so I don't cough on camera. May I?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Okay. And somebody said they saw us drinking this. This is that pH. There's a couple brands that we really like this water. Smart water. It's,
I don't like drinking water, and this water I like. And
Yeah.
like I say, our kids introduced us to it, and I like that
So
water.
take bottled water. We always bring our own bottled water. That's just what we drink out of. I do have a filter in the RV, and I have a filter on the hose that connects it, whether it's city water or putting in a fresh fill. But I use the tap water with the filter that the in RV filter. I use that to make my coffee. But so you can get several days out of it. You're gonna when you're boondocking, you're only gonna get a few days because you got to go get food. You can only take what you can fit in that refrigerator. So I hope that helps. So it's kind of jumping all around. Our friend Les Chanteau checks in. Let's see. Edward Varga. Wicked storms in Bergen County, New Jersey as well. Matthew Blue. Yes, Matthew sent us a tip. He was on the podcast recommending the Jolly Rogers for fish. Matthew, we made that today. That'll be in our video Thursday.
And we enjoyed it.
Yeah, we really did enjoy it.
Thanks for recommending it.
Awesome perch. The walleye, never. I didn't like that at all. You didn't like it either. You ate the walleye. But the perch was awesome. And those are the two big fish there. And we really enjoyed it. Mike and Susan checking in from Virginia Beach. Let's see. Matthew says, I don't own an RV, although it's my dream to own an LTV Wonder. They are a great unit. The Leisure Travel Van Wonder. It's on the Ford Transit chassis. Andrew checks in from southeastern Massachusetts. Do you shut your refrigerator off between trips? That's a good question. Our refrigerator works on electric, and I usually leave mine plugged in here at our home all the time to a 30 amp supply. When you're on the road, it will switch over to the battery, and the car is charging it. When you're stopped, it'll switch over to LP gas, propane. So we really have a three-way refrigerator, and the only time I turn it off is if we're not going to be using it for a long time. We just arrived back home from our weekend camping about an hour ago. The fridge is on. We're leaving again Wednesday or Thursday, and I think we'll probably leave it on all the time since we have it plugged in, and keep things nice and cold. And we're always working out here in it. Sometimes I use it as my man cave.
He loves us.
Well, I come in and I write stuff because I got to see where things are and how they work.
And you're always checking on the batteries, how everything's charging and everything.
Yeah.
And,
so we'll probably leave
it's nice to say you love this.
Yeah,
and
I do.
I do too. But I mean, I think you love it about
so we keep
twice as much as me.
Probably we keep water in here all the time, and so there's cold stuff in the fridge, and I think there's some popsicles in there still from this week.
Some popsicles.
So yeah, I keep it going unless it's over a week or so. Now we're going from here this week. We're going to southwest Georgia to watch my grandson's first football game, and then we'll head down to the Emerald Coast in Florida, and we'll be at our condo in Florida, and we'll be in the parking lot there for a week without being used, and I will then turn off everything, including the fridge. And it's interesting because just the solar keeps the batteries topped off when I have it all turned off. Just keeps it topped off. I don't have to worry at all about the batteries running down while we're not using it. And then when we take off and we're going to go someplace, we'll turn the refrigerator back on, usually the night before to get it nice and cold. Terry is in Indianapolis, Indiana. Wonder Bike checks in from Scottsdale, Arizona. Craig, we have not unwinterized all the way. It's August. My husband wants to get on the road and wait till we get to the park to do it. Can we use the toilet on the way without worry? Wow, this is August. Yeah, a lot of parks don't like you to unwinterize and mess up the ground because you've got to drain your tank a couple, 3 times. So I would urge you to do this now, unwinterize it now in your own driveway or wherever you have it stored. The proper way to dewinterize it is you drain that freshwater tank, you fill it up once or twice, and then drain it before you fill it up again. So all that water is got to go someplace, and most campgrounds don't take kindly to people emptying all that water out on their site. It's unsightly. It makes a mess. If it's been raining in that area, it puddles and.
Well, they put it down in the ground.
Well, no, not when you're emptying your tank. When you're emptying your tank, it goes out on the wall on the ground.
Oh.
Your black tank goes in the.
I thought we dewinterized once in Florida.
We did at, and then you emptied the tank. We did that at Sunshine State RVs. Oh, and we did
I thought
one.
at a campground.
We did at the campground, and that's where I learned that campgrounds don't like you doing that. I did do that, and that's how first-hand experience, Greg. I'm just trying to save you having somebody yell at you. So do it now, and then put a little fresh water in, and you can use that as you're driving down to wherever you go, and then hook up to city water or fill it up with fresh. But that would be my recommendation. But can you use it? Sure, you can. Just make sure you have some water to flush in with whatever this is gross, whatever you're depositing in the toilet. Why are you hitting me? You thought I was going to say
Just
something
move
inappropriate?
on.
Okay, well, you got to answer them. Any recommendation for a sewer hose length, and do you use special toilet paper?
Special toilet paper.
Single ply. Yeah, the kind that rips real easy. Single ply, and I have a macerator on our rig here. Would always, no matter what RV I get, I will always get a macerator. I don't like the gravity, those big messy 4-inch pipes. So that sewer hose comes with it, and it pulls out. It's about 15 feet, I think, and I would not use a gravity. This does have a gravity fill, empty. I can use that pipe if I want to switch to it, but I never would. I prefer the macerator. That's much neater and much cleaner. But toilet paper is important. Don't let anybody tell you you want to make it as easy to dissolve as possible. RV or marine style toilet paper, and it's usually single ply. Seems a lot of Class B owners do not use their wet bath for showers. What are your thoughts? Thanks for sharing your knowledge.
Okay, why we didn't was because we had a shower curtain that you pulled all the way around the area. Well, then that shower curtain is going to get moldy, or you have to wipe it down. It's just too much wiping down, and I didn't want to do that because I don't want to deal with mold. You got to get it dry.
Now we have a dry shower in this, a self-contained dry shower with a door, and we do use that. It dries much easier. We don't have that mold problem, and we use. I actually prefer it. It's got that instant heat, that Aqua Pro Insta hot water, which is so nice. For washing dishes, you just turn it on and it's instantly hot, and so we like the dry shower. But the wet shower is kind of messy, and that's
a little
why
bit. You just gotta make sure it's dry.
we in our previous 4 or 5 Class B
Five.
RVs, you never used the shower, did you?
That's because I have to clean it.
I used it once when you weren't with me on
Yeah,
that
when
trip.
I wasn't around.
Yeah, and I just, I think I left the curtain out for the day, and then it was dry at night, and I just tied it back up. So hot and humid, says Alan in Huntington, West Virginia. Let me jump to the questions so we can finish it. Go through as many questions, because a lot of you are saying hi, and we appreciate all those check-ins. Hi, hope you're both well, says Eileen. We recently purchased the Adirondack Adventure Guide. Thank you. It's truly amazing. Have you heard any complaints about delivery delays for new LTV RVs? First of all, let's talk about a couple of you have referred to it. We have a series of 7-day adventure guides, and there's the link to all of them. We have 5 of them out now. These are start to finish. They'll let you do 7 stops, and we recommend really taking 10 days to do it, but you can do it in 7 if you go quick. 10 days, 2 weeks, perfect, to explore. But we've got one on the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. This is the time to go, August, September, October. We've got one on Moab, Utah. It's pretty hot there right now. Not just Moab, but all of southern Utah. We have one on Yellowstone National Park. We have one on Colorado. And our most recent one is our 7-day adventure guide to the Adirondacks. And you can find all those books at that link, and there's a couple of special deals out there where you can combine them and make a bundle of them, and you can look at just go to that link there, and you'll find them. Now, the second part of the question: any complaints about delivery delays for LTV RVs, leisure travel van?
It wouldn't do any good to complain to us.
Yeah. Well, I think what Eileen's referring to, is some tariff issues that they've had.
Oh, okay.
And yes, I've heard. I think the last I heard is most of those issues have been worked out, but during some tariff negotiations and some of the hassles with the administration, the U.S. administration, and the new Canadian trade agreement, all that. There was some delays with parts, and I think on shipments just getting through customs. I believe most of those have been worked out, and I know I'm hearing, and people are sending me notes, or I see it on our Facebook group all the time. People say, "Hey, I just got our new leisure travel van." So my thought is that those problems are largely resolved now. But yeah, there were some. It was pretty crazy. All right, lots of you still saying hi everywhere from California. Love the sound of the RV and the rain on the RV. Yeah, it's kind of stopped
Isn't that
now.
nice?
I loved. We woke up to it about 5 this morning, and it was just very comfy and cozy in here with the thunder, and it was really nice. I'm looking here for. Laura's talking about the California RV show, which we're talking about. Fontana in October. Yep, and again, that date for our meet and greet there will be. We're going to do a couple of them actually. We're going to be leisuring it out together and having some fun, and we'll tell you more about that as it gets closer to the date. But that'll be pretty fun. Kevin Nelson is in Chautauqua Lake, New York. That's the big Chautauqua. We were just at Chautauqua, Ohio, which is the second biggest Chautauqua. But Chautauqua is an Indian name, and it's really the name of the lake, which, as we understand, means two moccasins tied together, or fish that are jumping. And they never were quite sure what Iroquois definition it is, but it was the original camping movement in America. It swept the country in the late 1800s, early 1900s. There at one point were like 80 of them around the country. Camps where people would come and camp for a week, and they'd have educational programs, spiritual programs, recreational programs, and that tradition has continued now, and that's at the place that we were just at here, this lakeside of Ohio, and where Kevin is greeting us from in New York. And I think there's a couple more. We actually talked with Kevin Sebring, the CEO of Lakeside Chautauqua, about maybe doing an RV lifestyle tour of like 3 of them. We could actually caravan to 3 of them and spend a couple days at each, and that would be fun to think about. So we're going to just talk it over, and we'll talk about it. If that's something you guys would like, we'll let you know. I'd encourage leisure travel vans to go all diesel and skip the propane. Well, I wouldn't. This is our generator runs on propane. I really like propane over diesel. Doesn't smell. The generator's not quite as noisy. It just sips propane, does a really good job. And we also like cooking over LP gas. So, Tim, that's kind of what you'd like, but we're all different. And that's the nice thing, is we can get it either way. You can get it all diesel, or you can get it all propane, however you want. 100 degrees in Dallas, Texas. Looking forward to a Harvest Host trip to Minneapolis for some cooler temperatures. Yeah, it's been really hot the last couple hours. Very hot. Gary Martin says, are you on shore power? Yes, we are. We are on shore power. Our Unity twin bed has a surge protector. Would you advise getting an additional one to plug in at campgrounds? I sure would. Look at the video that's up right now. Right now. We were told this does not have a surge protector built in at the dealership. I specifically asked about that. And so that is why we bought a pretty high-end surge protector that you plug in at the pedestal. And I have been in the habit of doing that because you just never know. A lot of the pedestals are in bad shape. Campground infrastructure is not great. And usually it's fine. I plugged it in last Sunday at Holly Recreation Area, where we came, our Ask Us Anything came to you live last week from there. And it had reverse polarity, which could do major damage to the inside of your RV unless it's caught somehow. So we actually had to move sites, and we found one that was good. But that surge protector that we had invested in may just have saved me more than the cost of it, because it could have done lots of damage to anything that was hooked up to the internal power of this thing. So I do advise getting one. A good one costs a couple $100 from I think I paid $235 for ours, and you can go to just look here after this video, after this live program, and you can see the current one we have about mods, and 12 mods and hacks, and you can actually see a demonstration of what I'm talking about with that catching that thing at the pedestal. So yeah, I do recommend it. They recommend it at the dealer. Of course, the dealer sold it, but I specifically said, does this have a built-in surge protector? And they said no, it does not. So we we took their word for it, and we picked up the extra one. I think I would get the extra one just as another means of protection, because so much is dependent on that electrical power being clear. Okay, what do we have here? I'm kind of, yeah, a lot of you still talking about the rain that is now gone. What is the price range to camp in an RV park with full hookups for a couple of weeks at a time? Well, it depends on which park, right? What would you say?
Usually, boy, it depends on whether you have electric, water.
Well, they want
sewer.
full hookups.
They want full hookup. So
40,
that's more
50 bucks a
expensive.
night.
Yeah, I'd say $40, $50 a night. And do they give you a discount if you camp for a week? We never stay anyplace.
Most of them limit you to 2 weeks. At the one we just were at Lakeside Chautauqua, the rate was $48 a night. It was full hookups, and they had a 14-day maximum stay. So you can do the math yourself, but I would say $40 to $50 is the average now, and we have seen them much higher. We've seen them much higher. So full hookups, it depends on the park. KOAs, probably 50, 55 bucks
Maybe
for
up
full
to 60.
hookups.
We've got
Up
the
to
KOA
60.
discount.
Yeah, now you can get that KOA card, get 5% off their special membership thing, but that's just 5%. So I mean, it's $5 off, maybe on 100. So $250, big deal, right? Not every bit it helps, but it's expensive. Mike and Jennifer, we met you at Road Trek's Tampa show day before the stuff became official for Road Trek's demise. Yeah, that was a crazy show. That's when we all first heard about what was going on at Road Trek. They ordered a 2020 Pleasureway Ascent at that show. Great vehicle. We love Pleasureway, and they should pick it up in about 2 weeks. Congratulations, John. You will love it. That's a great machine. We've heard nothing but great things. We love Pleasureway. We love Leisure. And
Everybody that we know that has a Pleasureway really like it.
yep, it is great. There's any chance to find any deals of leisure travel vans in Europe? Aren't. No, they don't have. They don't sell them in Europe. So it's a whole different thing. You're not going to find them in Europe.
Electric system.
Yeah, everything's different. We are Virginia Boondocker hosts. We're really enjoying the program. In October, we pick up our Unity rear twin beds unit, and we're so excited. We'll use Boondocker's Welcome and Harvest Host. That's our preferred way of camping, unless it's to a special thing like we just did, where we had full hookups and air conditioning, 24/7. It was great.
And isn't it fun that we can use our RVs in so many different locations? Boondock in the middle of nowhere, boondock at something that had all the opportunities where we just came from, all kinds of lectures and
Oh yeah.
programs.
Sharon Childress, what brand of indoor-outdoor thermometer do you have, and where did you put the outside transfer? How does it work? Okay, mine is right. Where is it? Can I find it? It's right. I'll go turn it on. This is it right here, and it's where's it from? It's a Lacrosse indoor-outdoor station. Lacrosse, Lacrosse. You can find it on Amazon. And I put the outside sensor on the back of the RV, so it's back there, and it get closer to you here, so we're matched. So there you go. It's the Lacrosse indoor-outdoor sensor, and I really like that. I think I like it more in the wintertime because we can see what the temperature is, how cold it got out there last night.
That's right.
That's kind of fun. What do your children think about how good you two are at all the videos? You're like a real commercial. No, we're not a commercial. What do our children think? I don't think they know. They don't know that we are major influencers in the RV world. They think we're kind of what? I don't know what they think.
Well, because you were in television.
So they're kind of used to that.
So they're used to seeing you on TV, and then we did a lot of freelance work together. I don't think they think anything of it.
Yeah, this is what we've always done since they were little kids.
I'm not sure our one child even knows what we do.
Yeah, I don't think our middle son has a clue what we do. Jeff, our youngest, and Wendy, our oldest, they
love
know.
To camp.
They love to camp, yeah. So they have fun. Mike Smith, I've seen some of your older videos. It seems like you two always have a different RV. How many different RVs have you had?
This is number 7.
Number
There's one
7.
we only had for 2 weeks. The Wonder we only drove for 2 weeks.
Yeah. For the first 5.5, 6 years, we were sponsored, Mike, by Road Trek, and we bought a used one, and then
That
they
was
came along and
ours.
sponsored us, and they didn't want us in a used one because people were watching it. They wanted a new, so they actually provided us one for all the publicity they
We got prototypes.
But yeah, we got prototypes, which means we had to work out the bugs, and they were a lot of them. So we had a number of theirs, and then when Road Trek went belly up in January, we decided we sent back the unit we had, which we'd only had for a month or
2
so.
months.
And we looked around, we tested out a bunch of others, and we decided we wanted to buy one. We didn't want to ever get caught like when Road Trek went under. I mean, that was it. No warning, it just happened. We were in the middle of a camp out when we heard about it, and then we went down to Tampa, and then it really exploded. So we decided that wasn't going to happen to us again, that we wanted to buy it. So we bought this unit ourselves, and the bank and I are paying for it. But this is ours, and this is number 7. One of them is one we tested for a month and a half, and that was
No, well, just for 2 weeks. We
it
drove.
seemed like a month and a
Oh,
half.
the Wonder?
Yeah.
We only had it for 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, we flew into Manitoba, Winkler.
Oh, that's
drove
right.
it home.
In the winter, in the
Drove
blizzard.
it to Florida. Drove it to Salt Lake City.
Was that just
Put
2
a-
weeks? We put
that
like
was just 2
5,000
weeks.
miles on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Good thing we're young.
yeah, that was good. I have a question. How long can you actually run your house batteries when you're boondocking? Great question. One that everybody wants, and put in lithium batteries. We boosted the inverter to 2000 watts. Unplugged with no house current running, and the refrigerator was on. I was 100% charged. My batteries were at 8:20 a.m. when I unplugged. At 10:20 a.m., I was 99%. Then the sun came out, and I had solar charging, my 400 watts of solar panel. I stayed at 99% until 4:30 p.m. And when I checked at 11 p.m. that night, I was 92%. So I went the whole next day. I was 91% when I woke up the next morning and checked it. And it got up to 97% with the solar by the end of the day. So the bottom line is the solar will make up for that if you have sun. And at that rate, I probably could have gone several days. Now, I was just using the refrigerator and the inverter, which does have a draw, and that was it. So the batteries last a long time. Now, if I've been running the microwave, and we can't run the air on a 2,000 watt inverter, we have to run a generator for that. But you can go quite a ways. And you can set yours up however you want. You can get extra batteries, you can get a bigger inverter, and you can modify it however you want if you're a big time boondocker. And that will be, that's up to you, to whatever you want to do. Do you have trouble with your Mercedes seats when you bring them back? I mean, well, they don't recline. They don't go like that. They're always like this, but they do rotate around, and we do that all the time. They rotate fine, and then rotate
I wonder
back.
if you're meaning the seat and then where you rest your back. Because I can't tilt back like this.
Yeah, you can't do that. Doesn't do that.
I can't do that.
Doesn't do that.
When I try to get it to go back, it takes the legs forward, and
Yeah.
I like the room with my legs.
Well, maybe that's what she meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of bothered me that I can't tilt it. Like a car, I can't, where my back is, I can't take it back just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should have them look at that. We can look at it and see. But I always thought it was. What's that purple light over Jen's arm and neck? There is kind of like a purple right here. I see it. Look it down here.
I don't know what that purple is.
There's a line. It's
You got a purple line, Michael.
It's a light, some kind of light that's coming on you. I don't know what it is. Isn't that weird? Yeah,
is
right
weird.
there.
Yep.
There it is. Ah, my finger turned purple. And you got it.
I don't know what that purple line
I
is.
wonder where that's from.
I have
Let me
no
move
idea.
this
Did it
around,
just
see what
come?
happens.
It's on your
still
screen.
there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Now it's on your arm.
It's almost as if I have the green screen on. I don't think I do.
Well,
Let's see.
there's the line, kind
Yeah.
of like a purple rainbow.
I don't know
Got
what
a
that's
purple
from.
rainbow going on.
I don't know what that's from. That's really weird.
It is peculiar. We've never had that before.
Yeah, we've never have had that. I would say it's a light reflection from something, but I don't know where it's coming from.
And it just started, didn't it?
Yeah, let's see if I kind of go. This is kind of boring here. But,
Yeah, that is boring.
okay, well, it's coming over that way. There it is. I don't know. So I don't know what it is. It's some kind of,
knows?
thing. So get closer to me and we'll let it go. But thank you for pointing that out. We could get all obsessed with it.
I was looking
What is
at
with
it.
that purple light? Yeah, yeah. It's just some kind of a weird reflection.
It's a strange rainbow.
It is a very strange rainbow. How do you keep up on managing your RV? Well,
Take it in and get it serviced
Yeah.
when it needs to be serviced.
we have it serviced regularly. I have gotten to know everything in here pretty good, at least for me. I'm not very mechanical. There isn't much to manage, really. A few buttons to push, and you just want to make sure you push them in the right order. But we have had no problems with this on any of them. It sounds much more complicated when somebody's telling you how to do stuff than it is when you actually see it. So it works out pretty good. Have you heard of the Faithful Parking website for overnight parking at churches? I have. And I was going to interview them on the podcast, but they're just getting started, and I think they want more publicity than they really have to offer in terms of services. And until we see that this has some viability, and there are a lot of churches all across the country that allow you to camp overnight for free, I'll probably wait until they really get their act together a little bit better. But it's a great idea.
Very good idea.
There's a lot of church parking lots that are just totally empty, and what a great idea.
That'll get some of the neighbors mad.
It'll get some of the neighbors mad. Neighbors get mad about everything, but I think that's a great idea. I wish them great luck, and hopefully it works. Alan Washington, I bought the Yellowstone book. My daughter used it last week. Very helpful. Thank you. That's always exciting to hear. The Yellowstone is one of our 7-day adventure guides that you could find up there. Keep sounding. I'm having fun with my little buttons that I can push, but that's where you find out all about it. Yellowstone is just a great place, and we didn't get there this year. And
Yeah.
Jeff Vick, hello from Jolly Rogers. I think Jeff is that couple we had lunch with today. Jeff and his wife Terry. Yeah. Hey, hi guys. I'm glad you found us. We met them at the Jolly Rogers, which is that fish place I was telling you about in Ohio and Lake Erie. And they were right behind us in line, and we ended up talking. And Jeff is thinking about getting an RV as soon as he retires, and that's coming up in a few years. So, Jeff, and we really enjoyed meeting you guys. Hope to see you out there again. And Jeff, this might be for you. Here's my recommendation. Don't wait to retire. Life is too short. It takes an income to properly outfit your RV. I agree with that. Get it now. Test it out in little bits and pieces as you travel along. But then when it comes time to retire, you're ready to go. So don't wait for your retirement. Start it now, if you can do it. And most of the time, if you're a couple of years away from your, you should be able to do it. And then you'll know too how much you like the lifestyle.
We got rain, thunder, and lightning again.
Yeah, we do. It's getting really actually quite noisy. Let's see. I'm really going. I want to take as many questions as I can. What are your thoughts of somebody traveling alone? More power to them. Go for it. You've interviewed a lot of solo travelers.
Yeah, a lot of women travel alone, and it's great. They enjoy it. There's groups for just women. If that makes you feel more comfortable having a group to go with,
Jennifer
it's not a problem.
She has several videos here on the channel interviewing other solo women travelers who share their experience. She's got a couple of stories that are pretty interesting to look. So just look through the playlist here on the YouTube channel. And you did one where you talked to 5 or 6 women solos, and it was a very popular video, and it's still up there, and you can learn a lot about it. How hard is it to keep maintaining an RV when traveling? We've been doing this 7 years, and we've never had a problem.
You can always find somebody who will service it.
We've had breakdowns and things that broke, but just like with a car, there's always somebody that can do it. Even the Mercedes Sprinter. I think we lost a serpentine belt coming out of Yellowstone one year, and Silver City, Montana, or Silver City, Wyoming. I'm not sure where it
That's
was.
why you carry an extra belt.
Had an Elster belt, but I didn't know how to put it on, and we found a guy. He happened to be the head of the search and rescue department and a mechanic in town. He figured it all out. We've met some great people when we've had little glitches along the way. You know, we had an engine part failure the first year we went out in it in Billings, Montana.
We won't talk about that.
That was my problem. I didn't know how to downshift going up and down the mountains. I was kind of having fun, and
Yeah, you were having fun, and I
With
this
operator
doesn't
error.
quite seem right. Then all of a
$1,200
sudden-
operator
Then all of
error.
a sudden we were in limp home mode.
Yeah, that was it.
It was scary.
Yeah. Chris says, in any of your rigs, did you have trouble with the slide out? Well, this is the only slide
This is
out
our
we've
first
ever
slide
had.
out.
So we got our fingers crossed. No, we haven't had any trouble yet, and that was good. Jeff and Terry, thanks for your advice and the look at your unit. Enjoyed lunch with you today. Well, we did too. I'm glad you guys found us, and we hope to see you the next time. We are going back to Lakeside. We love that place, and our video on Lakeside, if you're just tuning in, we talked about that at the beginning of the show. You can catch it in the replay. We spent the weekend in Lakeside, Chautauqua, on the shores of Lake Erie. Had a wonderful time, and look for that video coming this Thursday here on YouTube.
I think that all campgrounds should have facilities, because there was a gym, treadmill, elliptical, bike. There was a pool for lap swimming, exercising. There were yoga, tai chi, all kinds of. That's what I like.
Tim says, are you currently paid or sponsored? They're a sponsor. You see their ad on my blog. On the blog, they're a sponsor. They get advertising, but they don't provide us a unit free or any of that stuff. But they are a sponsor, and I have a number of sponsors who take ads. You know what a sponsor is, right? You see them in newspapers and on television stations, and that's what we have. A number of different sponsors, and they are one of them. You can see. I mean, it makes sense, right? We've got one of their products that they would advertise it with it. So they are a sponsor, and we have a lot of sponsors. We have a bunch of them
And
here.
we toured their factory. It was awesome.
Love their factory.
We met the managers,
The man-
CEOs,
Yep, we had a
nice people.
They're great people, but they're a sponsor of ours. You can see those ads right on the blog. Hello, Garden City, Michigan. We followed you for years on Channel 4. Yep, love your channel and the information you provide. Well, thank you, Martin. We're having a lot more fun here than those old investigative reporter days on Channel
Mike
4.
Wendland and the I team.
When your Murphy bed's down, your dog can easily get in and out freely. Yeah, there's room. There's maybe that much room at the end of it, so he can get through. And if you walk sideways, you can get through. This Murphy bed comes all the way down and across.
You got to have the slide out to put the Murphy bed down.
Yep, you got to have the slide out.
And one night we couldn't get the slide out, so I slept on the sofa up front, and you slept on the sofa in the bed.
Did you use two sizes of inverter on this model like you did on the Road Trek? I think you're talking about the little extra auxiliary inverter I put in on the Road Trek. That never really worked the way we hoped it would, and we ended up taking it out back in those days, and we just had the one that we used. On this one, I just have the one we put in. We upgraded our system, and we have a 2,000 watt system. It's not a leisure travel van system. It's from Battleborn Batteries. They're also a sponsor of ours. And we have the, I can't think of the name of it now. Electron? No, I'd have to look it up. It's all controlled on an app. But we bought a bigger inverter. We have a bigger inverter on this thing, and it's a 2,000 watt inverter. It's kind of a neat system that I have. I really like this. It's Victron, I'm sorry. And there's a little app here, and it will show me things like what my current state is of batteries and how much charge is going in, whether I'm connected. For example, I don't know if you can read that right there. It shows that I am connected to shore power, how much power is coming in, that it's being inverted. And then if I want to see what the status of my batteries are, I can then do it, and you can see my batteries are at 100% right now, my lithium batteries, 13.58 volts. So that's the system we have. We have one inverter, and it's a 2,000 watt inverter, and we'll do everything except the air conditioning. To use the air, I have to either be plugged into shore power or use the generator, and that's good. We have officially joined the RV world, picked up our ProMaster conversion last Tuesday. One memorable trip down. There's nothing like that first trip. Is there? Isn't that awesome?
Mm-hmm.
That is so great. Lots of you checking in from all around the country, and we want to say hi to you. We appreciate every one of them. What's that crackling noise? Rain. That's rain. Raindrops are falling on the roof of the RV, and the wind is blowing, and that's rain that you're hearing. And it kind of is. We've had 2 or 3 showers that have come through since we've been on the air, and that's pretty good. Do you find that you have to pay more in cities for parking as an oversized vehicle? We recently had that experience in Ottawa. We've never had
We
that.
don't go into cities.
Yeah, I stay
park
out of
on the
cities.
street.
I'm not a big fan of urban driving, and done my share, been everywhere there, and we avoid them as best we can. But we've never had to pay more for parking.
Would make sense that you would.
Yeah, I
Because
think
you'd be
in
taking
a big
2
city,
spots,
yeah,
spot and a half.
yeah, it does make sense that you do. But we generally don't go in any of the RV cities. Here's Elizabeth answering that question about solo travelers. She has no issues, and that's good. Let's see. I'm trying to read these questions. Check the backside of your microphone for the light. Cameras can pick up none of the light we see. Yeah, maybe that is it. No, there's a little. See, there is a little. That's it, right there. Look at that. That was it. Hey, that is
My
great,
purple
guys.
light,
There it
thank
is. That's the light on my microphone. Let me kind of cover it up with the windscreen.
There we go.
Davis, Tandy, and Buster, you guys are our heroes. Now we know what it was. Thank you. That was really great. We never would have found that out. Just wanted to say hi. We're doing full timing on the 28th. Excited and scared at the same time. Bought a Class A country coach and using 1,000 trails. At Class A, you're going to stay longer in a spot than people in a B or C do. B and C's tend to travel around more, and A's seem to stay in one space longer. So somebody had asked a question about a membership group, and I mentioned 1,000 Trails. That's a perfect example where a 1,000 Trails membership would be great, because you're going to be staying in roughly probably the same region most of the time. Congratulations anytime, and don't be scared. The worst thing that can happen is you're going to have a bunch of adventures, and then you might decide it's time to quit after a couple of years, and you've got those adventures that you'll never regret, and you'll be able to sell that unit, no problem. Enjoy it. Andrew Larimore, I wish campgrounds would have rental cars. We have a Class A and don't tow a toad. It would be great to get a rental. Boy, you'd think somebody would figure that out.
Well, I guess, yeah, that would be ideal.
That's a great. You'd think a campground even would get a little kickback from them, maybe a local dealer who provides a couple of cars.
I wish they would offer daycare for dogs, or have people that they recommend that could take your pet.
If we had a campground, Andrew, that is such a good idea. First thing I do is go to one of the local rental agencies and say, or even a used car dealership. Sometimes those guys will rent them out, and just have that available. And then your idea.
In Munising, Michigan, where we have the pictured rocks, we go on the boat rides, they had an area where you could leave your pet. They had some cages where you could,
Oh,
when you took the boat ride.
And at Mammoth National Park,
Yes.
they had outdoor kennels where you could
Outdoor
leave your dog.
kennels where we left our last dog.
But I think what you were talking about before would be nice when you're at a campground, if you have a dog, that somebody could come and take care of the dog. There is that service, and we have used rover.com. Rover, like dog, rover.com. And it's kind of like the Airbnb for dogs. Dog sitters. We used them once in New Orleans, and the Rover sitter actually drove out to the campground, picked up our Bo and our friend Laura's dog, and kept him for the day
and
while
then
we
brought him
went
back.
we went into New Orleans and toured. And we stayed. We took an RV into New Orleans. Back to that question about parking, and we didn't have to pay extra for it. It was automated parking downtown, and it was $20 for the afternoon, I think, if I remember right. But Andrew, great question and a great idea. And if anybody's running a campground out there watching us today, that's pretty good. Where are you broadcasting in 4G or Wi-Fi? Actually, I'm using Wi-Fi right now. 4G. I've been using 4G a lot in all of our systems, and streaming takes an incredible amount of bandwidth. So I'm using Wi-Fi, and it's pretty good. Do you break camp to get groceries, or just buy everything before you camp? Getting electric bikes. Electric bikes will happen. Make sure you get a basket for them. We didn't this weekend. We actually rented a golf cart. This place was so big where we stayed, and it's a big expense, $160 or something for
For
4
days.
days, 3 days.
Thursday,
But
Friday,
this place was
Saturday.
so big, a mile square, and the activities were all around it. And we were shooting a video on it, so we didn't have time to walk to every place. We did not bring our electric bikes, and I wish we had.
But I need a basket.
We need a basket for it. But at this point, there was a place you could get right outside the gate, and we brought food in, and we ate out. There were restaurants in this facility. We wanted to test them out, and so we ate out 2 or 3 nights. There was a potluck in the campground last night that was fun. But generally, these things are so easy to unplug and go do your shopping and come back that we'll do that. We never thought about towing a vehicle. Electric bikes are really fun to have. We don't use them so much for carrying stuff because we have yet to get baskets for ours. Okay, more of the questions. Do you worry about medical emergencies on the road, especially in remote areas? No, not any more than we worry about them at home, I guess. And we've had them. Jennifer ended up being hospitalized in Red Lodge, Montana, with
A 10-bed hospital.
what kind of
Pneumonia.
bacterial pneumonia, and got excellent care. They even let our dog come in at that time. Remember? Beautiful little hospital, great views, but yeah, I mean, there's help everywhere. And this was a little tiny town. We were doing actually a boondocking camp out with about 50 other people just outside of town in one of the national forests, and she had been sick for several days
Had
and
been building.
and couldn't breathe, and we ended up taking her to the hospital, and they admitted her for, how long were you in there?
Just a
3
couple
days?
days.
Couple days, but there's help everywhere, you know. So not to stay home because you're worried about what could happen. That's not in our DNA. We kind of go.
You know, you try to be prepared. You try to take whatever you think you might need because you know your body.
Do you feel you could live full time in your leisure travel van? I'm thinking of getting one and working remotely. Yeah, I could. I don't think you could. Right?
No. Well, I could if I had to, but I would prefer not to live full time in
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we're 3/4 of the time right now, and we kind of like that. We spend, we're going to go down and spend a week or so at our condo, and we'll spend a couple days here and there sleeping in the RV, traveling around. We've got all these trips that we'll be taking with it, but and we like our home in Michigan, where we are close to. We've got 2 of our kids that live in Michigan. But if it was just me and I wasn't married, didn't have kids, then I could certainly do it. I work from this thing all the time. It's very comfortable. But I don't think I'm a full timer. I don't think I'd ever want to be a full timer.
I was just going to say, you couldn't get your Peloton bike in here.
Yeah. Let's see, what other kind of questions do you recommend a new or used RV for a first time purchase?
Used.
Used. In fact, we don't even recommend you buy one first if you're a first timer. We really don't. Rent one. Now, I know they're expensive to rent, but they're really expensive to buy, whether it's used or whether it's new. So don't buy one without...
Unless you got a lot of money.
Unless you got a lot of money and you don't care. Don't buy one without trying them out. And the beauty now, because of services like RV Share and Outdoorsy, you can go all over the place and rent almost any kind of RV you want, from a Class A to a Class B. And I recommend that you kind of figure out what you think you're interested in and rent a couple of them, even if it's just for a weekend. Go live in it. Manage it. Here comes the rain again. And you've been saying this for a long time, right?
Have.
And then about buying it, when you identify it, we'd recommend you buy used.
We would have bought one a lot sooner if we could have rented one. They were really hard to rent a few years back. And also, we had a big hairy dog, and people said you couldn't rent if you had a dog.
Yeah, well.
But, once we got in one, I loved it. But
Yeah.
I kept saying no, there wasn't enough room.
Yeah, that's good. Larry brings out a point. Enterprise RV, Enterprise cars, rental cars, they'll pick you up if you're in the area. Yeah, one of the things I don't like about it, they'll pick you up, but then they drive you into their headquarters, and then you got to go through all the systems of filling it out, and then you drive back, and then you got to return it there. They'll probably give you a ride back. What would be neat is if they had a system right at the campground where you just
You're asking
you
a
do it.
lot.
I know I'm asking a lot, but when you're on
Uber.
vacation or you're
Uber.
yeah, or use an Uber, I guess you could do that.
But if you're out in the middle of nowhere, I doubt there's many Ubers.
Yeah. Have you ever driven a Class A? How would you drive compared against B? I've never driven an A. Have no desire to drive an A ever. I used to tease Jennifer that I did, and she got really mad. But no, it's not in our future. I just can't imagine us sitting in an A.
Unless we sold our home, and it was our home.
And then we had to tow a car. That's not our style. We like to go and we like to boondock. We like to be in the middle of the wilderness.
Now, I can see why people like A's, to go to an area and park it for 4 months and then just totally explore the region, just really experience it, and then move on to another part of the country for 4 or 6 months.
Well, as my coughing begins, one last question because we're up. Our
It's
hour
8
is up.
o'clock, Your hour's up.
We might as well stay here till the rain quits up. How many months of the year are you on the road?
Half to 2/3.
All 12, but we're on the road all 12 months.
Yeah, we're always on the road.
If this thing is not used for 2 weeks at a time, that's a lot. Usually, and I use this as the second vehicle when Jennifer's out in our family car or car that we have. But we use this and camp 12 months of the year. We camp in the winter and the snow and the ice and in the heat, and we have a great time. So it's great. Last question. Okay, Sharon, you ever gotten back to your campsite, Thunder, and found somebody else has taken your site? No, I put a little sign up that says campsite occupied, and that hasn't happened to us.
I bet that happens a lot to people, though.
Yeah.
You need a sign,
Yeah,
a rope. You can just take a rope, some clothesline, because there's not always trees.
yeah,
And then we saw somebody that had such a cute sign. I was surprised somebody didn't steal it.
yep. Yep. And, Elizabeth says Class A in one spot generalization. I could rebut that. Of course you could. Everybody's different in their use, but generally,
It takes a lot of gas.
generally, which is a generalization, most people stay longer in a Class A in one spot than people do in a Class B, because they pick the B because it's much more maneuverable, generally. And there are exceptions to everything, of course, Elizabeth, and that's great. All right, listen, I want to thank you guys. A couple things. Our newsletter comes out tomorrow, and if you have not yet subscribed to our newsletter, we invite you to do that. We're RV Lifestyle Mike. We are also on Instagram. You can find us on Instagram or on Twitter. Just hashtag RV Lifestyle Mike on Instagram and Twitter. And we want to remind you about our podcast. The podcast, it comes out every Wednesday morning, and here's our podcast teaser. All right, podcast. This week we're talking on Wednesday about financing, what you need to know, the little ins and outs of financing an RV. It's a really interesting discussion. Thursday, we'll have a big video on Lakeside Chautauqua, the trip we just did this weekend. And we thank you guys for being with us again on Ask Us Anything. Wherever you are, I hope these storms, if they're heading your way, I hope they aren't severe. Get out there, enjoy it. There's still lots of summer left. We had a great time being with you. Thank you so much for being a part of the Ask Us Anything on this Sunday night.
Happy trails.